Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are doing our first impressions on the Exoprimal closed network test. Now, there were a lot of people very skeptical about this game because, once again, they featured a red-headed female protagonist, and there were a lot of comparisons drawn with Dino Crisis. Most folks preferred, at least that fan base, that particular camp, they preferred Capcom to manage their resources into creating something more worthwhile for them to play and experience. Maybe they didn't care about multiplayer, they cared about the third-person action adventure survival horror mechanics that came with Dino Crisis, and they didn't get that with this game. Instead, they're getting a third-person multiplayer experience that is more akin to Earth Defense Force, where you're fighting all these like enemies and they're swarming the entire area and you have to deal with the refuge. I think that this game, after giving it a fair shake, it is half fun, half bad. And what I mean by that is, let's start off with the controls. Like, the controls are very basic for a game like this. Of course, you're running around in a high-powered suit. You have your mobility. You can jump around, sprint. You can do ultimate attacks. Everything that you've seen in sort of a mech-based game, you could kind of do here with a little bit more ferocity, so to speak. I liked how the controls handle that you could just jump out of a suit and jump into another one. You got your quick menus. Everything is fast and efficient for the combat, and given that this game is like based on 4-player co-op combat, you're gonna want to move fast as possible. They give you a tutorial in the beginning talking about this corporation that provides you the tools that you need for dino slaying. They had one mode in the beta and it's called Dino Survival, and you have to essentially go into this player versus experience environment and deal with all the creatures that are coming, like from T-Rexes to raptors, and there's also like poisonous dinosaurs that can sort of do splash damage. And I kind of like the variety there. Like, there was a triceratops that also spawned in the area as a sub boss, and it really adds to the tense nature of this game. I thought it was going to be way too easy with the AI, but I was wrong. They can really demolish your team if you're not careful. So there's that layer of needing the proper teammates and the proper classes doing their job. And of course, you have classes that regulate to stealth. Stealth mechs really have a low health bar. So there is a risk and reward system when you're picking these characters. However, if they get behind someone and they start doing the melee attacks, they can do a lot of damage. You have your ranged characters where it's like snipers or random assault soldiers doing DPS, damage per second, over time, and they're good mid-range, maybe long range. However, that being said, they really don't do well in close quarters. You also have your tank characters that can put up barricades to dodge all the dinosaur attacks and try to get around it and eat it, and then they have like high amounts of health, but they are super slow and their mobility is like cut in half. Then you have your healer characters that can heal all the people around you and do revivals faster. So there is depth with the class system, despite this being a relatively simplistic game. I think it benefits the game in the long run, and it definitely made it fun for those co-op ventures when you're going around having differing classes for your team to succeed in these Dino Crisis affairs. I also like the fact that the game was fast, furious, it was fun to the point. This is something that felt like a popcorn experience when it came to a game. I'm not talking about like movie-like quality, but I'm talking like you can easily just pop this game on, turn your brain off, have fun with your friends, and that's it. And I think that's the intention of what this game was made for. It's made for some basic co-op fun, and that's it. Now, we're gonna get into the stuff that we really didn't like. Despite the controls being good, you had your ultimates, you had everything under the sun for a mech killing good time. I felt like this game tried to shoehorn in a player versus player match at the end of each session, where you have to deal with other enemies that will spawn in. They will be like coded by a red insignia right when they spawn in, and you'll see them and then you start fighting. The PvP aspect of this game where you're fighting other players is not good. I'm sorry. It feels like a chore. You don't know where you're getting shot from, you don't know where you're taking damage from, and it feels like these indicators were left in the dust when Capcom decided to put this in. I wish that the PvP was pretty much isolated from the game, like a separate mode, so to speak, so you don't have to deal with all that nonsense of being sniped from behind, not knowing where it is, being sniped from the front, not knowing where it is. It feels like it's not properly balanced enough to be fun with player versus player. It feels like this is something that could cater to an audience, but for me personally, I don't like that it was shoehorned into the player versus experience backdrop where you're fighting all these dinosaurs and all of a sudden you have to kill the enemy team. I know the competitive nature of Exoprimal delves into either team deathmatch where you have to kill all the people highlighted in red, or you have to push the point, similar to Overwatch, where you have to push a cube to a certain position and whoever gets that position first will win the round. And I think that, once again, it's just no need to shoehorn the competitive multiplayer aspect into the cooperative multiplayer aspect where you're doing well and killing all these dinos and having fun, and then you have to deal with other players in the mix. I feel like this was their way to vary things up, and it just does not go well. It's like putting nails into a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It will not mix, it will not gel, and that's how I felt. I felt like the competitive and the multiplayer, the cooperative aspects should have been separate instead of blended together, because I wouldn't mind if the competitive aspect was fun, but once again, if you could stand there with a tank, then deal with all the enemies lobbing these mega grenades at you while being attacked by dinosaurs at all sides, then you want to reevaluate the chaos when it comes to the competitive affairs. I think this game has potential. Of course, I think the hinge of Exoprimal is going to vary because it's all going to come down to how it's priced and what they have to offer. And honestly, I can't say that just one mode alone where I'm feeling like half baked on it is good enough for like something like a $60 game or something like that. I feel like this game needs to be $40. It needs to be crossplay, and they need to offer a lot more modes with variety, balance, and nuance in order to extend the longevity of this game. I really enjoyed the attacks, all the flashy movesets, the fact that you could turn into like an 8-tier tri-gun and just completely have machine guns mounted on your arms, your back, your legs, and start blasting everybody away. The way the animations look are absolutely insane. I love it for this caliber of game right here. It's a really basic and fun game, just buried by some mediocrity here and there in how they handled the balancing. Overall, I would say despite the performance being stellar, it's a lot of chaotic stuff on screen when there's like 1 million dinosaurs trying to claw your face off. Also, there's like a death animation that I saw where I got my arms eaten off, I got my legs eaten off, and I got my head eaten completely the fuck off. It was the most amazing thing that I experienced for a law screen, and I'm telling you right now, I think you would enjoy that at least. But there is something buried in this game that has potential. It is rewarding. It feels like if you pop this on with your friends, you're going to basically have the time of your life once you play this. It just needs more work, it needs more fine-tuning, and this is what the beta test is for. More modes, more fleshing out. The presentation is completely awesome. I love the screens and everything, how the game looks. It's incredible how it's able to run so far, because I think it ran super well considering all the shit that's on screen. This is the perfect test bed for dealing with multiple enemies in the RE engine, the Reach for the Moon engine. And I think this leads itself to maybe some small AA multiplayer diets that those folks who don't have multiplayer, who want to play something and ingest something really quickly with buds, this is something for them. If you're hardcore into single player content, I don't think they're going to provide that for the people. I think they're going to probably shoehorn in some single player missions akin to Evil Dead the game and call it a wrap from there. I don't expect Capcom to really go full force with this one for the people that are wanting single player affairs. I'm just saying this is definitely a co-op joint. If you're buying this game, if you're interested remotely in this game, that's what you're getting it for. I still don't think that it should justify the full cost of a $60 or $70 game, because once again, it just feels like it doesn't warrant that diet, middle of the road, AA experience that you'll have a flash in the pan time with, and that's it. Although what is there, it's pretty enjoyable. I will say that much. I definitely prejudged this game based on Dino Crisis, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to play it, experience it myself, and give my own singular opinion on what I felt about the mechanics, the class system, the mechs, the robots, everything. There's also like ultimates that you could do where you could turn into a goddamn T-Rex. That's awesome. Like, you know what I want? I want a mode where one player has a dinosaur, the other player has a dinosaur. It's like Dino Coliseum, and you guys just fight. That's it. Or maybe have all 4 players be dinosaurs, T-Rexes, all sorts of shit, Triceratops, all that stuff, and then you go at it in a singular arena as the dinosaurs, because there are dinosaur controls. The T-Rex can smash, claw, bite, do somersaults. It's insane. We need a game mode like that in Exoprimal, and I think that would be rewarding if they decide to do something like that, but I have no idea. Anyway, this is Renegade Operative signing off. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed this first impressions of Exoprimal. Tell me what you think if you played the closed network test. Based on my opinion, how do you feel about everything that I said so far? Comment below, let me know. Let me know if that piqued your curiosity or not. I have no idea, but I guess only time is going to tell as this game develops. Until then, I will see you guys next time, and if I hear anything pertinent or if I see anything else pertinent in the closed network test, I will let you guys know well in advance. See you later, take care, and as always, be good people.